Hi everyone, I'm Alice. I am the web designer and brand designer for Redlit Consulting. Today I wanted to do a refresh of a Showit tutorial. Showit is the platform that I use to build all my websites, all the website templates that you see available in Redlit Consulting, and majority of my clients' websites are built with Showit. Showit is my favorite platform to use. Today we'll go through, how to use it, and I think it'll show for itself why it's my favorite platform. So I've just pulled up one of my website templates to use as an example today. As you can see, we start off with this really nice interface where we have the cell phone version of the screen and your desktop screen. And it's great because as you're working through things, you got to see how it's going to look for that mobile version and desktop. And I think this is really important because, as you know, majority of people are looking on their phones most of the time. So that's probably the first introduction they'll have to your website is likely on their mobile device. So as we go through here, you can see you can scroll for the whole first page. There's these different elements on the page. We have text. Here we have a video, which you can see when you press preview, and this video should load up for our background. As you can see, we have the nice hamburger, menu button available, and this is how it looks for desktop. Super simple to see the preview, really useful tool to be going throughout the site and checking in with that. I'm just going to look at my checklist today for things we want to go through. So yes, let's start with the basics. Let's go to site settings. So your site settings are on your left-hand side up here. As you can see, there's no domain set for this site as it is just a template. If you were to connect your own site, it would be connected here. This is also where you can add that your little favicon icon for your website as well if you have a logo. And then as we go through here, this is connecting your blog. Say you already have a WordPress blog, Showit is really great. I'll move it across and connect everything. The team here, super responsive, super easy to make that happen. Or you can start your blog fresh. It'll connect through WordPress. When you sign up for a Showit account, you do get a WordPress blog as well, which is awesome for SEO purposes. This is your Google Analytics section. So this is where you would add in your, G dash number in here to track your Google Analytics across your site. So yeah, that's your tracking ID that you would pop in there. Social, this is where if you had like an Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, you can add all the URLs in here and it makes it super easy to connect it later on throughout the site and just link those socials. Next, we have design settings over here. So this is the fun part. We get to get into a little bit of the design, my favorite part. You can add in your custom color palette. You just add it with your hex code over here. You can add your own fonts, and then you can kind of make it easier for you as you go throughout the site. Say you're designing your own site. You pop in what font you want to use here for each part, and you can change it for mobile and desktop. And you can also upload your own custom fonts here as well. So you don't have to just stick to Google Fonts, but they do have all the Google fonts available as well. And then you have your media library. So let's pop into Social Circle templates. So these are the images you'll see throughout the site. This is where you upload your files, and you can use them throughout your site as well. Okay, so you may be wondering, how do I make changes to my site? Super simple. You click on the elements you want to change. If you want to add an element, for example, add text down here. It's very intuitive. You can see a little text box. You want to add a shape, social grid, embed some code, add a photo. Very easy symbols to let you know what you're adding. When you click on the element, you'll see all along the right side are the things that you can do with this element. So for the text style, we can change the color, we can change the size, text properties. If you wanted to make a contact form, you can enable input. You can move it around the screen, we can center it. We can do whatever we like. Click actions, you can link it to a different page, to a canvas, to a different site. Transitions, this is if you wanted it to fade onto the screen when you first load up the website. Hover, this is a great tool to use for something like a button. You can do a custom amount. So say we want to do like an opacity of 60. So now when I hover over that button, you'll see it has that opacity set. So it kind of lets you know, hey, this is something I can click on. Let's set up that discovery call. And you click on it and it would take you to whichever page you've linked. So for example, this is the contact page. And then effects, last but not least, you can add things like a drop shadow, which makes it super easy for adding in design elements. Anything like that, corners to round it out, makes it super easy to make those little changes to something like a photo where I've rounded it out or I want to add a drop shadow. A little bit about the left-hand side of the page. You can see here we have our pages linked. So if you go to the About page, pops up here. And then that's the pages, but to go to the page elements itself, we have all these lovely sections here when you click on the page. So you have your header, introduction section, part 1 of the story, part 2, all the way down to the footer, and then mobile navigation. And you'll see here that you can make things available just to the phone, such as a mobile nav. And here I can make it visible on desktop if I choose to, but we'll leave it as just visible for the mobile version, as that's all you need it for. One really cool thing that I like about Showit as well is that my header, I make it into a site canvas. So you'll see here it has that little web little icon here. So that means when I make changes to this header, it applies all across the site, so you don't have to go in each page and make those little changes, which would be super frustrating. Versus these sections, you can see it doesn't have that little icon. It's just a regular canvas, so when I make changes to this one, it doesn't apply elsewhere, but that's perfect because in this case, there's only one type of canvas that's like this for the entire site, if that made sense. So for example, a footer, another site canvas, if I make changes to this footer, it applies all across the site. Wherever there's a footer, it will make that change. Okay, so let's go check out the blog. So here you'll see our little blog section. You can customize how the blog shows up for the blog page. So I can move these elements around and change the font. But when you go to something like a single post page, so yes, when you go to a single post page, this is just how it will look, but the actual content will be pulled across from your WordPress blog, so it links. So when you want to type up your blog, you go into the WordPress end and it will pull it into here so that it will look like this, this format, but the text itself and what you've written, the copy, is all on the WordPress end. So it's super cool how it pulls across to Showit from WordPress. Okay, so what if you're going through your site, you're making changes, but you don't want to show anyone that you're making those changes yet? That's totally okay. As I mentioned, there's a preview button. You can click on it to see what it's like for the preview. And then say you made a change and you're ready for it to be published for everyone. Just wait until you're ready and then you can hit publish and it'll publish it to the actual site and then you will see those changes. And then you'll have to hover to each page. That's how it's going to look. Another note is when you click on a page immediately, we do have SEO settings, so you can set up some basic SEO as well, your meta description and an image if you choose to. And say you want to actually add some code to the page, some custom code, you can embed it in this box here. You can add whichever code you'd like and play around with how that looks on the Showit end. And lastly, just to quickly go over how you would link your socials. As I mentioned, you can link them at the beginning in your site settings, but you can also go to your icons here, go to click actions, and enter in a Facebook link for where you'd like your visitors to go to. So when they scroll down to your lovely footer, if I click on my Instagram link, it will take me to my Red Lid Consulting Instagram. So that's just a quick overview of how to use Showit. It's a super easy platform. I personally love building websites on it. And I do have some website templates available on my website at redlidconsulting.com. So if you guys don't know where to start with Showit, you definitely check those out. There's also some on the Showit site itself. There's some templates available. Super easy platform to learn. I hope this was a quick, helpful little tutorial of how to go through it and how it works. But I will see you guys all in the next video.